Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far and that I can make it even better for you. As today I'll share my uni advice for sixth form students and any tips I've got to make it as pleasurable of an experience as possible. Talking through how I found first year and how I would do it differently now I'm in my third year, and the main differences between uni and sixth form with my 12 best pieces of advice. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, firstly, and most importantly, hence why it's the first tip in this video, is to actually just enjoy the year. You only get the first year of uni once, and it, in most cases, doesn't actually count towards your final grade, so long as you don't fail the course. You will have had all this pressure built up and put on you throughout your GCSEs, throughout your A-levels, IB, BTECs. Just enjoy it, relax it, and get ready for the next few years of studying. It is a massive adjustment period moving away from home, and for many people it's their first time living away from home, and your uni will acknowledge that. At sixth form, well, at least the sixth form I went to, there was this massive pressure on doing academic work. It was always the main driver, pushing and pushing and pushing as much as possible, as though that was the only thing you had to do in life. Now at uni, and particularly in the first year, that just isn't the case. They acknowledge that you're going through a period of a lot of change. You may have to cook for the first time, you may have to clean for the first time, you have to budget for the first time. And again, for many, it'll be the first time living away from home. I know it was my first time living away from home. Due to this, there is not such a massive push on academics right from the get-go, but don't worry, that comes later. So whilst you have this extra time, you may as well make the most of it. Just enjoy yourself. I can't really tell you how, although I can give you a few ideas. You can constantly be going out, meeting new people, making friends, going on nights out, going to coffee shops, and taking hold of opportunities that you just wouldn't have had before. For instance, one thing they had at Reading was American football. I sort of wish that I'd have gone back and tried that in my first year. Or party, or join societies, or join clubs, or just do whatever makes you happy. Take anything you think will make you happy. Any opportunity thrown your way, just take it with both hands. Because once first year is gone, you won't have as much freedom to go out and find yourself. You'll have to focus more on work, again, like you did during the end of sixth form, but if you can cast your mind back to the start of sixth form, it was more relaxed then as well. Although again, it's worth noting that social pressures are a lot less at uni than at sixth form. So there's no pressure really to behave in a certain way, or to dress a certain way, or to do certain things or whatever, or not to pursue what you love for fear of being bullied. That just doesn't really happen. Just be you. But I mentioned this in an older video of mine in more detail. I'll link that up above now, and it's called Meeting New People at University, How to Meet New People at Uni. It's such a big space and there's so many people that popularity hierarchies just can't form. It's just little enclaves of people who all get on together and tend to get on with one another from enclave to enclave. So try and find the group you would enjoy being a part of, or maybe you just enjoy being solo and there's some other enjoyment method, but you see what I'm trying to say here, right? Please let me know down in the comments below if you do have any questions of any of these points, by the way. Now, moving on, my second piece of advice is to look after the tasks you do have. Although I'm saying you have all this freedom to go off and do whatever you like, make sure you are still doing the work that is being set. You don't have as many people checking up on you to check that you've done the work. You sort of have to be more accountable for it. It looks like with increased online learning, there's an increased mark inequality, meaning that you're seeing a lot more people get higher grades and a lot more people seeing getting lower grades. Just try and make sure you're not in that lower bound. Try and make sure you're pushing up, make sure you're passing the year, and maybe even getting a first. It's crucial not to fail the year, but it's also things like making sure everything's clean and tidy, making sure things are organised, making sure your fridge is stocked up, which actually ties in really nicely with my next piece of advice, and that is to learn how to cook as soon as possible. Brilliant, you've left sixth form, you're now at university, you've arrived, you're living on your own, you live with people you get on with, it's lovely, you're all getting on so well, but what are you gonna eat? I've heard some absolute uni food horror stories, like far worse than like the stuff you tend to hear about, all pot noodles or beans every night. Like these are some true food atrocities, and try to make sure you're not committing any. Treat yourself right now with your health, with your budget, with your weight goals, or just please your taste buds. If you can get this nailed now at the start of living on your own and cooking for yourself, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life, and who knows how long you may have to cook for yourself for. So try to nail it early. Now, this is something I was tempted to do a video on, university cooking that is, and I wasn't sure which road to take with it, whether to do healthy, whether to do easy, whether to do affordable, etc. So if you would like to see something like that, or any particular food topics, please do let me know in the comments down below, and I will make a video on it, as I like to think I'm an okay chef, but I'll let you be the judge of it when I bring out a video. And whilst we're on the subject of cooking and food, I couldn't recommend home delivery enough from supermarkets. Although, big caveat, this might be different during COVID times, but during non-COVID times, or I may just be waffling and it may be fine anyway, but home delivery is an absolute godsend. Between us as housemates, we coupled up, meaning delivery was never over £1, and we didn't ever have the small basket charge because we could always get, say, £25 or £40 of food depending on if we were shopping at Asda or Tesco. It allowed us to get the discounts you can get from buying from the big supermarkets in bulk, so say your rices, your pastas, etc., without the effort of having to carry them all back through town. As often, unlike sixth form, you don't have a car, you don't have any way to transport it, so you'd either be carrying it walking or on the bus or on a bike, and it just made it a lot easier for us. But onto my fourth piece of advice. Now, I did say that the first tip was the most crucial. However, in hindsight, and it is crucial to enjoy the year, but arguably this could be even more important, and that is to get some form of work experience or some internship, or just even some part-time work, if at all possible. Preferably in the sector you want to go into, but anything is better than nothing, even if it's just for a couple of weeks. A great time to fit it in would be over the summer between your first and second year. But I mean, any time's a good time, and the earlier you can start, the better. So if you can do it in that summer before you join uni, when you've just left sixth form, that's ideal. And then any time in between those 2 summers or after that, before you get a job. It's all about clocking up the miles, padding out your CV in this uber competitive job market. And now I do appreciate getting experience is a lot easier said than done. But again, it is a real help. It can help you to get the job, and it can also help you to make sure you're going in the right direction. Are you sure you want to do the career you've planned? Like, how do you know unless you've tried it? Have you just decided you'd like that role? Like, have you had any experience in it? If you could get that, it could help you to double down and say, okay, which exact bit is it you're interested in? And then you can take that further. So by the time you get to your third year, you know exactly what you're heading for. You can go out and get that job. You can focus your dissertation on it. You can do whatever, whilst also getting your name out there for employers to see and giving you something to talk about during your interviews. Which again, is particularly important with the state of this job market at the moment. And you can even make money doing it. Talking about money, and that summer between sixth form and uni, is that if at all possible, try and earn some money and get some savings together before you start your first year. Again, this is another one of those things that's a lot easier said than done, but it can allow you to enjoy yourself. Like I was saying, you want to take advantage of any opportunities and enjoy it as much as possible. And you don't want to have that full constraint of, can I afford this, can I not, etc. You don't want that in the back of your head. So if you can get together enough savings, even to enjoy your first few weeks before, say, you go and get a part-time job, it should hopefully add to your whole experience, because you really want to be saying yes to as much as possible. You might feel in the moment that, oh, you can't be asked, but just get out there, just do it. Go out and walk to the shop with somebody, even if you don't need anything, just for that social element. That could be the start of the friendship, which is what you'd remember long term, not that extra night's rest that you've got, or that extra half an hour's rest you've got. Go and grab a coffee, go on a night out, just do anything you can. Just enjoy yourself, especially during freshers. Obviously, the big caveat to this is to not say yes to anything that will make you feel uncomfortable or anything that you regret later. Whilst peer pressure is greatly diminished, it's not fully gone, and still don't give in to it. I'm not condoning that in any way. I've actually gone off on a massive tangent here, and what I meant to say was having that little extra bit of cash can help you enjoy those things a lot more, help you say yes to a lot more opportunities, which ties back into the first point again. It also folds onto my sixth piece of advice, which is to come up with a strategy to budget early. This is another freedom you may not have had when you were in sixth form, where you suddenly have all this money come in from your maintenance loan, and it's highly tempting just to spend it all in the first week. In fact, I actually know somebody from first year at my uni who did not just manage to spend their entire maintenance loan in the first term, but also went a couple of £1,000s into that overdraft. That is such a hard place to come back from. So try to be wise with your spending and try and get your budgeting in line so you can try and have an equal quality of life over the whole academic year. That could be another big reason to have savings, because if your budgeting goes wrong, you then have something to go into before going into your overdraft. But yeah, just try to limit the amount of spending to within an affordable range as far as possible. And if you are too thrifty, at the end of the year, you always have that saving that you can spend on something like a massive celebration, presuming it's COVID safe, or you can begin to save up for other things. But again, I don't need to tell you how to spend money. My seventh piece of advice is to try and get one eye on the student house that you want to live in for your second year. Now, you don't have to do this immediately, but this was something completely new to sixth form me, so I thought I'd share it with you. There's obviously a stock of university houses in the area, and they're very much on a first come, first served basis. Once they're gone, and they won't come back on. So the earlier you can choose a house, the more selection you'll have to go from, and hopefully the higher quality property you'll get. On the flip side of this though, you don't want to rush into this and end up sharing property with people who you may not get on with down the line. As a general rule of thumb, I recommend trying to get the house sorted before the Christmas break. But again, if you can't, it's not essential, it's just something recommended. I covered all of this in more detail in my last upload, which I shall link above now, and that's called How to Choose a Student House. I do like to think that I know a bit about what I'm on about when it comes to this, doing a property degree and having picked places to live for 4 years of academic life. So yeah, jumping around, my eighth piece of advice goes back to an academic point, and that is to not delete your work files. Another big change from sixth form to uni is the way they build on top of the learning you've already done. So it can be that down the line you're recommended to read a source which you were also recommended to read in your first year. If you've done that, it'll be a real pain to have to go through the same source twice. So if you go through it the first time and then you save all your notes for that, when you want to use it as a later date, it's still saved in there, you don't have to go back through it again. Now, this doesn't occur regularly, but it has occurred, I'd say probably 3 or 4 times where I haven't had to read a source a second time because I've already read it once and I've got it saved on my computer. Which I think that saves me time, hopefully something that saves you time. Following on from this, my 9th piece of advice is to get comfortable with Microsoft and with Google. From the point of view that, especially with online learning, Microsoft Teams gets a lot of usage. Microsoft Outlook is the go-to email system normally. Laptop malfunctions are very common and will probably happen to you at some point of your uni career. I know I've had them happen to me. And from that point of view, OneDrive is essential to make sure you're saving all your word and backing up to OneDrive so you don't lose anything when it does go wrong, inevitably. Although I say all this, I hope nothing does go wrong for you, fingers crossed, but if it ever does, have it all on OneNote and backed up and saved. And depending on the sort of course you're doing, some basic Excel skills might also be of great benefit. And when I mention all these, by the way, I'm not asking you to go out and buy them. Often your university provides them as part of their fees. It's included in the package, but it's just making sure you know how to use them and how to access them. That was just the Microsoft tools. For Google, I know that the University of Reading recommends you use Google Chrome when you submit any work. I can't remember the exact reason. I just remember that I think it's more reliable to use Chrome with the Blackboard system they use. It could be the same for your university as well. There is also a lot more group work at uni than there was at sixth form. So this is where things like Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides becomes handy because you can all edit it at the same time and it will change it on each other's computers rather than have a Word where each one of you has to do a bit and send it and do a bit and send it. You can all jump on at once when you're using Google Sheets, for instance. And the reason for this group work is often in the industry I want to go into, real estate, a lot of work is collaborative. You don't tend to just do one piece by one person, there tends to be a group working on it. So that's why they sort of build it in a lot more. I can't say I had that much group work at sixth form, but I do have quite a bit at uni. Whilst on these academic basics, something else to recommend is to get your knowledge of plagiarism down early. Again, the University of Reading did a great thing which pointed out to you what was plagiarism, what wasn't, and that really opened my eyes. It's amazing just how much does count as plagiarism. So it's important to get those basics down early. How to write appendixes, how to write bibliographies, referencing. Again, on my course at the University of Reading, they pretty much all like it as Harvard reference whenever it needs referencing. So it's, say, learning Harvard style, or it might tell you to do it Chicago style, but that would depend on what you get set by what assignment, and it can change from school to school within the uni. By school to school, I mean, so within the university, there'll be like a business school, there will be a humanities school, etc. And it depends which particular module fits under which school. Often you're actually marked on your referencing as well, so it can just help you to pick up a quick few easy marks just to bolster your grade up without doing necessarily that much more work. My 10th piece of advice is to experiment with the work whilst you can. Your first year marks don't tend to add up to your final uni grade unless, again, you fail the year and you have to resit. So if there's any ancient styles you've been using that you don't like, so say study methods for instance, or essay techniques, now's the time to change it when there isn't as much on the line. If things go wrong, it's not going to permanently affect you. And if something does go drastically wrong, you can just, revert back to your old tactics and see if that works any better, or try different things, see what helps, so you can implement it and make a more efficient version of yourself for the future. My 11th piece of advice is to build some industry knowledge early on. You can surprise some employers when you pull it out. You can link to it and add it into your analysis during essays to get you high marks. And it can take the pressure off of yourself to have to try and get all this knowledge in your final years when there is so much going on. It also should give you an indication of where your industry is steering, see where it's heading, if there's something you're interested in doing long term, or if it's moving away, or what specific part of the sector it is you are interested in, etc. Now, my 12th piece of advice is to remember there's actually life outside of uni. It can be very easy from the moment you arrive to just be absorbed in complete uni life. There's so much going on, it's so easy just to focus on the event that day, or the event that week, or this bit of work, or this is happening, or that, etc. But don't forget about your family, don't forget to keep in contact with them, see how they are, see what they're up to. Same with your friends from sixth form, well, just your mates from home really, on the whole. Don't forget to keep in contact with them, as you'd never want to lose them. You blink once and oh my days, a month has gone by. You blink twice and that month becomes a year. And then bam, your first year of uni is over. Which again ties back into that first point of enjoy your first year as much as possible. It seems to go by so quickly. Any opportunity thrown your way, just take it with both hands and run. You only get first year once, so you may as well do everything you can to get the most out of it. That's everything I've got to share with you today. Thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.